That's right.
die on that hill because private equity is
And
equity and private credit is fixed income,
that
and that's where
that
they
that is
belong.
that's exactly right. And I will be next to you on that hill, shooting, continuing to shoot. Uh,
Yes, we'll be in the rabbit hole together.
we'll be in the rabbit hole together. And I think that's done. And I totally agree with you. Those are basically just, those are just long only positions, long
Mhm.
only exposures dressed up with like a little accounting drag. That's basically what it is.
As
It's
Cliff
not
Asness calls it, volatility laundering, but go
right.
on.
Exactly. And so the whole world's been focused on that. And I think one of the challenges in the world is that those strategies provide no diversification benefit to your portfolio.
Exactly.
None. If anything, they're detrimental to your portfolio because the fees are too damn high on those products. And so
Mhm.
actually what's happening is you're taking low cost liquid exposures and things like credit or equity and you're replacing it with high cost illiquid exposures, and investors don't need that. And so that's where what I'd say is alternative strategies come in. That's different. There's alternative asset classes and alternative strategies. And alternative strategies are very different because what they do is they provide the opportunity for actual diversification. And they do that predominantly through being able to be long and short assets at various points in time. And so when we talk to advisors, almost always the first thing I put up is a chart basically saying, of all the assets in the world, what are the most diversifying assets that you can find that you can include in your portfolio?
Mhm.
And when you look at that, there's basically three assets that are the most diversifying to a standard 60/40 portfolio. It's commodities, diversified commodities,
Mhm.
gold, which people are finally learning a little bit about recently. And then the last is diversified hedge fund strategies at low cost. So something like global macro is basically the best bang for the buck diversifier you can have in your portfolio. And it's basically why I started Unlimited. I said, look, there's three things that diversify 60/40 portfolios. You can go out and buy gold. There's a lot of options for that. You can go out and buy commodities. Great options for that. There's no good options out there for diversified hedge fund strategies at low cost. And so that's what I'm going to focus on because those can be meaningfully complementary to clients' portfolios. And when they look at that, and they look at that sort of theoretically and then look at it practically, like the through time picture of how those strategies have performed relative to traditional portfolios, almost every time I see sort of like a light bulb go off and they say, oh, wow, these can actually provide diversification benefits to my portfolio. This really is what I should be focusing on and not those alternative asset classes, but alternative asset strategies.
Absolutely. I wrote the curriculum for the Kaya Fundamentals of Alternatives module on this subject, diversifying versus non-diversifying alternatives, and like thinking about how you do portfolio construction from that. I did that about 2 years ago. Me, Phil Huber, and a couple other names that you would be familiar with were asked by Kaya to write those modules, and you will see my face in the module if you take the course, because they actually had me video one of the modules. So apologies, it's not as if you don't see me everywhere as it stands today.